If you could swap lives with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why? And you cannot use Marvel.
No! The first thing I thought was he going to say Spider-Man.
No!
Fictional character. Cannot use Marvel.
No DC either.
Okay, so no superhero.
Dang it. It was going to be the Flash. The Flash was going to be my next guy.
There's some good
Now
ones,
it's going to be a hard
man.
question to answer. Because that's our life.
You got an easy
I
answer?
have an easy answer.
What's your easy answer?
Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne.
Right?
Got the name already.
Yeah, you already have
That's
the
a
name.
good one. I
Just
like
change your
that
last
one.
name.
Dude, that's intense, though, because there's some times where he probably could have died.
Yep.
I got an answer.
You got an answer. What's your
Well, yeah, what would be yours?
Biden and I'm gonna resign.
Oh. No, we need that Joker to live on.
He's real.
Fictional character.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Um,
Oh, yours wasn't even fictional, Carson, so I don't even...
Oh man, I really don't know. There's this movie that I have enjoyed. It really didn't win awards or anything, so it wasn't that good. But it was called Chronicles. Okay, and it's basically these guys that have like telekinesis powers.
Tell me about this.
That'd be cool because that was actually like a real world like vibe. What I actually feel like would happen if some guys got some superpowers and stuff like that. Like it wasn't like a, oh wow, he got powers and he saved the world. Like it wasn't like that. It was like actually how superpowers can really like hurt people and stuff like that, and how like it can mess with your mentality. And so for me, I feel like I would like to just see, one, it'd be cool to have those powers, but two, maybe I could use those for good because I saw how bad they did with those in that movie. So I would take place of the guy that was probably the worst, so that way I could make it a good movie. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd do that. I don't know his character name, but he was also Harry in the Amazing Spider-Man. So Harry Osborn, that actor's name, I can't remember his
I
name.
don't remember.
But he was in Chronicles, so I'd take his spot.
I've got so many different movies.
My
that I've
brain
got
just goes
going
straight
on.
to superhero powers, though. Like, so I'm also trying to think, what could I do that's not that?
See, my brain's going through like Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
Star
gosh.
Wars, Rocky. Just like
Rocky,
some
that's
good
pretty
classics. Alien versus Predator.
Ridley. Ridley.
Yeah.
Legit.
Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to pick.
Neo.
Oh, dang, that would be. Have you ever watched The Matrix?
No,
Neo.
Matrix is so good,
I need to.
so good.
You'll talk about it. I'll just get tuned in.
I don't know. Maybe I would pick. It's gonna be weird because it's a girl character, but I love watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah?
I love the.
Are you watching the
anime.
Netflix show right
I
now?
already finished it, man.
I'm on episode 3, so don't spoil anything.
Well, if you've already seen the anime, then
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't.
That's what I like about this.
You
This is all brand new information to me.
What?
Dang, the anime is really good, but I thought the live action was really good. I mean, it's a little cheesy, but you're making the anime into real life.
Yeah.
But there's some things that they could have done better on. But overall, I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
But Toph, she's not,
Is she the Earth one?
but she's not in this season
she's
at
not
all.
in-
She's
oh,
in the
okay.
second book, but
Oh, okay.
she's a earthbender and she's blind, but she's like this super awesome.
You wanna be blind?
earthbender. Dude. She's
I mean, you wouldn't know she's blind.
yeah.
Because she has Daredevil powers.
Well, no. Since then,
That's how I get to be Daredevil.
Yeah.
He just went Marvel without going Marvel.
Yeah, right.
And if I had to go dark, like I always do with everything, I would be the guy from Catch Me If You Can because he made a lot of money. And he just ruined it by keep going. You can make a little bit of money and then just live a regular life.
Really?
Yeah, the Frank Abagnale.
Yeah.
apparently I lied about like all of it.
Yeah.
And like just in the last couple of years came clean about lying.
So that didn't happen.
Apparently not.
And they made a whole movie
I
off
would
of
love to ask him
saying
what
based on a
character
true
from Lord of
story.
the Rings he'd want to be, but he's
How do
never
you go
watched
through all that trouble?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great movie, but how do you go through all of that and then a guy just finally be like,
Well, because
I lied?
Like they went to him as like the like storyline and stuff. So they worked with him to figure out all the things. That
And there
Did
weren't
cross-reference
and there
with the
weren't
cop?
people around. Yeah, that's my thing. You can't look at like records.
so much, and it was like he might have a ticket for or like a record for embezzlement or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But off of that, he said he did way more than he actually did.
Oh, so he did more than what the show is.
No.
Oh.
He claimed.
Oh, like he claimed it. Okay, my bad.
That
Yeah.
he actually did. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed a little far fetched.
I don't know. I think it's pretty doable. I'm just kidding.
There are some people who have gotten multiple degrees in multiple fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What's her head we just talked about the other day? Yeah.
yeah. It'd be tough to sneak on and be a pilot, though. That'd be
Ooh, or I'd be the
Crazy.
security guard in Night of the Museum. That'd be fun.
That would be pretty fun.
That'd be really fun.
That would be pretty fun.
Like, wax museum. You move there, you take
Oh,
the
you
little
know what?
medallion thing over there. I'm talking with Keanu Reeves. Okay.
I want to be the Grinch.
The Grinch.
That's who I want to be.
your spirit animal.
Animal, he's a
During
he's a
Christmas time.
person.
During Christmas time.
But yeah, no, I love the Grinch. He's awesome.
Animated?
Any of them. I loved all three of the Grinch movies are
Three?
awesome. Yes.
I thought there's two, a live action and an animated.
There's two animated ones. Have you not seen the newest one?
That's the
Or
only
have you
one
not
I'm
seen the
talking
oldest
about.
one?
It's probably
You haven't
oldest
seen the
one.
oldest one?
I've seen the old live action and the new animated. I haven't seen.
Whoa.
You haven't seen the original
Old
Grinch.
school Grinch.
No, I did. I thought the live action one was based off a book.
Wow.
Dude.
I need to watch.
Wow.
What's going on?
Yeah, what is going on?
Are we in the Matrix right now?
You are. That's crazy.
I don't know how I haven't ever seen that.
Yeah, I know the
1966.
Man, I only missed it by like 40 years, but 34. But man, I don't know
That's
how I didn't
funny.
know about that. So when did the live action one come out?
like
Jim Carrey in
2000.
Oh, well, that makes sense because that's when I was born. Well, obviously, I didn't watch it whenever it first came out.
that'd be
but
interesting.
I watched it a couple years later, and I remember being scared as a kid. 'Cause I was like, it's like, that guy has green hair. He's scary. So,
I
but
think
yeah.
it's hilarious.
So that's my official answer. Actually, is not the museum guy, security guard. That's my official answer because that would just be fun. I'll just steal that medallion, go to different museums, talk with people. Tell me about history.
I probably only watched it once. I don't even know.
They came out with 3 movies.
I didn't know that.
No,
I knew the first one. And
you
the
didn't
second
know
one.
about that. I didn't know about the Grinch.
Mine is probably more culturally.
Mine's probably me not knowing about the Grinch was probably more shocking than Night of the Museum.
Yes.
Oh man,
There's a lot of fun movies that you could enter into.
Cool. All right, let's break down.
break it down.
Break it down. Now.
Start
So-
dancing.
Yeah. We're in our relationship series.
Mm-hmm.
We did a little bit later this year. But yeah, we are talking about modern love.
Modern love.
And the main idea of this first one was just talking about what true love is. And ultimately the answer is it's God.
Yeah.
Right? Because God is love. And so you cannot have true love outside of God.
Yeah.
And the points that I made, we used Romans 5:6-11. And the points I made was true love lasts through faults, talking about how we all have our different faults, and some people have never seen The Grinch.
So yeah, I love him anyway. But
Yeah, right. But there, we all have different faults that, you know, some people snore, some people
Yeah.
chew with their mouth open, smack their gum, and all these different things. Those are fun things, but there's you know, more serious faults that people can have, but
Yeah.
we're supposed to love them through those faults, just like God loved us while we were helpless.
yeah.
And then the other one was love through sin. Not like we love people while we sin, but
Yeah.
we love people in their sin. I use the Super Bowl ad as an illustration
yeah.
for that, and just thought, you know, how great of a talking piece that was, because it does like kind of shake people up a little bit to see these different complete opposite people, really.
Yeah.
Showing love by washing that person's feet, and I talked about how we're not here to accept people's sin or approve of their sin, but we are to love them still. Just like Jesus, while we were yet sinners, while we were enemies of God, deserving the full wrath of God, he died for us. And so, we've all been hurt by some kind of sin from another person, whether it be lying, stealing, cheating, whatever. And we've got to show that same love and forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then love brings, and this is the last point, we go through all that, through faults and through sin, for the purpose of bringing reconciliation.
Yeah.
And so
That's awesome.
Just how, through Jesus' death, we are reconciled back to God. We can have a relationship with him.
Yeah.
So kind of a broad scope of love, but that's supposed to kind of catapult us into the next week, talking a little bit deeper.
Because that's kind of what I elaborated on, was I wanted them to understand that actually being able to show people true love takes commitment, which is what we're talking about next week. And so I kind of told them, if we're going to be able to commit to showing true love to people, we need to know what that true love is first. And that's why we talked about it this week. And the 2 points that I made was, the first point was that God is love, and just kind of explaining how, using Romans 5 and everything, just talking about how God looked at us even though we were sinners, right? Kind of loving people through their sin. God was a great example of that, because he didn't have to send Jesus down to die for our sins, but he did, because he loved us. And so kind of just using that in the sense of God literally is love, because he showed us what love is. And obviously he's God. He created it, right? And then the second point, I only had 2 points last night because I couldn't figure out of a fancy way to put the second one. So it was just 2 points. But it was God is love was the first one, and the second point was love is a choice. And I kind of just talked about how there is a difference between easily showing love of the flesh to people here on earth, because your fleshly desires, whether it's an intimate relationship or not, you are going to automatically cling to people. It's easy to say, that person and I have the same personality, we're going to be good friends. Or me and this girl, we have the same personalities, we're going to hit it off, we're going to be boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And it's easy to do that, but when it comes to the people that annoy you, or people that you're frustrated with, that's whenever it's difficult to show love to people. So the fact that love is a choice, I also kind of elaborate by saying biblical love, that is a choice. But love of the flesh, that's not a choice. And if you don't know what true love is, then you're always just going to fall under the category of falling under love of the flesh instead. Because you're always just going to seek after what your heart desires, what the world is pushing you to do. But biblical love, that's a choice of deciding to say, you know what, I don't like this person sometimes, but I'm going to show them love, because that's what God did for us. God was frustrated. You read the whole Old Testament, he was frustrated with people over and over because they did not do what he said. But eventually, as you see in the New Testament, he loved us enough that he was like, you know what, I may not like everything that y'all are doing because it's against my commands, but I love you enough to say, I'm going to send down my son Jesus.
Yeah.
And I even go off the scripture of Matthew 26 of basically just saying that, look at all the things Jesus did. He didn't come down, he didn't get sent down here to wash feet, to heal the blind, to turn water into wine, all of these things that were amazing and perfect. He didn't do all of that and then have to turn around and get beaten senseless to the point to where he was unrecognizable and get thrown up on a cross because he liked it. He did it because he loved us. Right. And I know he probably enjoyed the time of getting to perform miracles. Who wouldn't get to enjoy that time of getting to bless people? But who wants to go get beaten senseless, wear a crown of thorns, and get put up on a cross? Nobody likes that. And kind of using in Matthew 26, when Jesus is literally praying to God saying, take this cup of suffering away from me. And then eventually he submits to the will of God, literally just 2 verses later, saying, you know what, God, if this cup of suffering has to be drank by somebody, may your will be done. And then going forth and saying, you know what, I'm going to let all of these things happen to me because he loves all of us enough. Yeah. Right. And there's going to be times, we may not have to get beaten senseless for our faith and everything now in our regular everyday world, but there's going to be times where I feel like the world will test our faith. very easily, and it's going to be very easy to fall into what we just like to do, right? But not always are we going to do what we like to do. We need to do what God tells us, and that's to show love to people, whether we like it or not.
And when I talked about this true love, because I started off just explaining what true love looks like, and I used John 3:16 to kind of explain it. And so it's, God so loved the world, gave his only son, whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life.
Yeah.
And so we said love is unconditional. And so it doesn't say that God loved the world after they became godly, or after they got themselves right with him.
Yeah.
It says that God loved the world, that he gave. So there's love is also sacrificial.
Yeah.
He gave up himself for us.
Yeah.
And the last one was God's love is steadfast. It's never changing, and it will last forever. Whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life.
Yeah.
And so that's what this true love looks like. And you're right. It is not like the world's love.
Yeah. It's different.
It's way different. I mean,
that's why you see so many failed relationships too.
Well,
because if you don't know true love,
puppy love.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Oftentimes it's, this person's perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. We're always going to be happy. But then once things are not happy anymore, that's when people start leaving each other.
Yeah.
And so in verse, I think 7 through 9, it talks about how a man, would have a hard time dying for a righteous person.
Yeah.
And maybe they would die for a good person. That kind of goes back to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If the way that we love as humans is if I think that person's worthy of my love, then I will give it.
Yeah.
But if I don't think they're worthy of it, then no, I'm not going to give them love or show them love.
Yeah.
But God demonstrates his love while we were yet sinners. Christ died for us.
Yeah.
And so that's that sacrificial, steadfast, and unconditional love.
Yeah.
That we should be giving, but it's difficult.
Well,
It's not
even
easy.
like you talked about John 3:16, like one of the things that I said, like just like a little sub point that they had to fill in the blank for, was that true love will last forever. And there's only one true love, and that's God, and that relationship with him, that'll last forever. And we sit here on earth and we keep wondering why all of our relationships like fail. Because we're thinking we're trying to find true love, but in all reality, we will never get to have that kind of love because we are not God. We are followers of him. So what we can do is we can show that love to people. We can be the people that try to show everybody like, oh, this is the true love of God. This is how we love you regardless of sin, regardless of everything in your life. We can show you that kind of love. And I'll even ask you this question. How many people did you date before Hannah?
Several.
Do you have a number?
I don't. No, I do not.
I don't have a number, but the kids were laughing at me. The kids were laughing at me because, and this, sadly, this is true. All of this was when I gave my life to Jesus in 6th grade. In 7th grade, I dated a girl that legitimately, in my brain, as a 7th grader, I was like, wow, I'm going to marry her, right?
Puppy love.
Yeah, puppy love. And then she broke up with me, and so that sucked. And then 8th grade, dated another girl, and I literally was like, I could see myself marrying her, right? I didn't fully think I was going to, but I was like, I could see myself marrying her. We broke up again. 9th grade, I dated another girl, and I was like, man, she's nice and everything. And eventually I broke up with her because I was like, I don't see myself marrying her. And my sophomore year, dated a girl for 11 months. And so in my mind, like the longest relationship I'd had, I was like, man, I'm going to marry her. She broke up with me and dated my best friend 2 days later. And so really like all of these like crazy, like long, like, I mean, you look at my life in middle school and high school, and really it was me just seeking a relationship that I thought would last, because like the students like were baffled about this, but my grandparents are coming up on, I think it's like 65 years of marriage or something like that. They will actually say, and whether it's true or not, I don't know. Sometimes grandparents like to just throw stuff out there, but they actually claim that they became boyfriend, girlfriend in 1st grade and that they stayed together all the way throughout. And then with Turner, my brother, he met Laura, his wife, in 7th grade, and they started dating at that time too. And then they stayed together the whole time. So for me growing up, I was like, crap, I got to find my significant other like right now, because this is all I've heard. And I'm like, man, I need to find who I'm going to marry. And that's just not how that works and everything. And I even read off statistics that it's like 2% of middle school relationships, less than 2%, actually lead into marriage. 5% of high school relationships lead into marriage, and only 10% of college relationships lead into marriage. And the college one shocked me. I was like, only 10%? Like, you're adults at that point. Like, in my mind, you should be looking to get married.
Your mindset was different than mine when I started dating. Marriage was not on my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, but and I mean, if you're searching for love from this world, like that was the main point of all of that, is if you're searching for love from this world, it's going to fail every time.
Yeah. You cannot have that true love outside of God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I even felt bad. I went and apologized to a couple kids that I know, even though I joke around about middle schoolers dating. Like, there's a lot of middle schoolers that are dating people, and you can't really do anything because like you can't drive, so it's like, what are you doing? Just seeing each other at school. But so they're dating. I walked up to them. I was like, hey, I'm sorry if you felt like I was just talking about you the whole time. And they're like, no, I really enjoyed it. So I mean, at least they weren't feeling like I was shunning them. But but yeah, I mean, you got to know God's true love before you can try to start loving other people, because otherwise you don't have a real idea of what love is.
Yeah.
So modern love.
It was good.
Yeah. Next week we're talking about commitment.
And yeah.
Yeah. You can assume what comes with that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if I was like, I don't want to get canceled.
We can touch the button from last year. You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh.
Yeah. No blankets. Hopefully they remember those rules. I'm not going to go over those again. But yeah. Modern love. Only a 2-week series this year.
What did we do last year?
I think it was like 3 or 4. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else?
That's all I got.
That's it. Well, we don't have anything coming up really. Girls retreat. There's that.
You know the dates?
I think it's like April 20 something.
What'd you
Oh, right.
bring
It's
it
April
up?
19th, 20th, and 21st. I don't know the last day to sign up, but go ahead and sign up and you don't have to worry about the last date.
How much
That's all I
does it
know.
cost?
Besides that, that's a good question. That's where Leah should be here. But yeah, I think that's all we got. So
See you
see y'all
time.
next Wednesday.